I specialise in behavioural profiling. I use something called the DISC model, D-I-S-C, and it's a model which helps people to identify what their behavioural strengths are, and then from identifying those strengths, look at where they're best placed in an organisation. I work in public sector, I work in schools, I work in private sector, charities, anywhere where there's people basically. Many of my clients are lawyers and accountants. I specialise in the professional services field. Very often I find that the people who are actually doing the work, the lawyers and the accountants, have different behavioural strengths to those who lead the businesses. So for example, lawyers and accountants who actually do the work, they need to be very detailed, very task orientated, head down, get on with the job, following the process, system, etc. Whereas the people leading the organisations very often are dynamic, entrepreneurial, different skill set entirely. And quite often the two types of people don't understand each other. So I go in and I help them to identify what their strengths are and how to communicate with each other and how to work in a cohesive team where everybody benefits. In schools, I've worked with students who've been excluded, and I've worked with teachers to identify why it is that they clash with the students. And in many instances, we've been able to help the students get back on track, even as far as if they've gone to a pupil referral unit where they're completely excluded from the school, by asking them to complete the profile questionnaire, identifying what their behavioural strengths are, and then working with them so that they then understand how they're perceived by other people. Quite often it's a bullying situation. These students are really quite strong-minded and they can come across as being bullies, and very often they haven't got a clue that that's how they're perceived by other people. Being a pragmatic, straightforward individual, I can go in there in a non-emotional situation and explain to them, well look, this is how other people perceive you, and I can then help them to work through their behavioural challenges so that everybody benefits. They get back on track with education and very often end up going to college or back into the school that they came from. Behavioural profiling is so useful regardless of where somebody is in their life, whether they're a 12-year-old student thinking about career choices, subjects to take at school, whether somebody's partway through their career, considering their career change perhaps, going up through the ladders of promotion, are they suitable for the actual role they're doing or they're going to be considering doing, even retirement, what somebody does in their retirement. No matter where somebody is in their lifespan, it's a really useful tool to understand what their strengths are and how they can best apply themselves to achieve their maximum potential.